Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Leanne Sanders. The reality of the dangerously dry conditions is hitting close to home. A fire that began on Cold Lake First Nations yesterday is moving west into the municipal district of Bonnyville, prompting it to declare a state of local emergency just before 1 this afternoon. A localized evacuation order had been issued, but that's now been downgraded to an evacuation alert. People affected have been notified. According to the MD, the fire is currently located between Range Roads 432 and 433, south of Highway 28. Updates will be issued through the Alberta Emergency Alert, the MD's website, and social media accounts. The Lloydminster Lions Club announced its Citizen and Junior Citizen of the Year today, a tradition dating back to the 1950s. Our Callum Hawker with more on these local stars.
There are many great people in every community, but some stand out more than others, whether it's volunteering, participating in activities outside of school or work, or helping out in the community. Kathy Smithson, who's on the committee to select the 2 Citizens of the Year, explains the process on how they choose the winner.
We put out notices to the schools and people who work in Parks and Rec and people who are involved in the kids, and ask them if you have anybody that would be fit this. And what we're looking for is community involvement.
Community involvement is something these award winners don't shy away from. As Marley Mann, this year's Junior Citizen of the Year, mentors at 4-H putting on riding clinics and equine camps, and volunteers at the Grace United Church booth. She also helped out with the Lakeland Rustlers, volunteering at the concession, all while maintaining a 99% average in her grade 12 year. With the prestigious award, Mann remains quite humble.
I think it's really an honor because I know how many great individuals there are in our community and how many kids my age that volunteer so much. So I'm really grateful to the Lions Club for selecting me, and it truly is an honor.
The other recipient, Larry Sauer, is a big part of this community, as he taught at Lloydminster Comprehensive High School for 30 years, while also coaching football for the school throughout that span. He was also a part of the Business Operating Committee at Southridge Church, and understands how much of an honor this award is.
There are many people, a lot of citizens who have been recognized before in our community who do a lot, so to be a part of that group is very special.
Callum Hawker, Primetime Local News.
Lloydminster City Council has been debating at length the possibility of offering public transportation in the city. City administration has been working on the public transportation master plan, conducting public surveys over the past 2 years, where it's clear that public transportation is something residents in Lloydminster really want.
What does it mean to people? What would they expect? What would be the preliminary costs? And I say preliminary because those are budgetary numbers. And what we saw come forward was there was 2,500 plus engagements in two sets of rounds of discussion with the community. People definitely indicated they felt public transportation would be beneficial.
Council is exploring additional revenue streams to make public transportation in the city feasible, including adding bus passes to tuition costs for Lakeland College and the high schools, and looking to other levels of government.
Federal government, certainly on capital purchases, is a question I would ask, and we'll be pursuing that information so that we have a very clear number to go to the ratepayers or taxpayers of the city in the 2025 budget submission that'll come forward this fall, if that's where it goes. But that's still a decision of council to come yet.
A potential pilot project has also been suggested. Council will address the issue again in the upcoming months. Now here are your agriculture prices for today. Notorious Fitness hosted its second Notorious Speed and Athletic Development Camp this past weekend to help young athletes improve in the border city. This camp aims to teach athletes the fundamentals on movement and speed that are useful for any sport.
Every sport's going to have a different requirement for how they specifically need to move, but how people move, how humans move, is how they move. There's not a whole bunch of variance in the movement patterns. So if we can teach them the concepts, then they're able to take it back to their skill and to their sport, and apply that to their actual skill, and that should overall enhance what they're doing.
Notorious Fitness will next be hosting a football camp that will feature help from CFL alumni Sean Gore, Junior Turner, and Adrian Clark.
It's probably the camp I'm most excited about right now. When I was in university, I played football with all the guys that are going to be coming out. And, each one of those guys was obviously able to go pro, and a couple of those guys were even able to get to Grey Cups. Lloydminster, unfortunately, doesn't really get too many events like that. You might get that for hockey, where you have a guy that, used to play in the NHL or something, and he comes out and helps some kids. But we have so many other types of athletes in this town.
Check out Notorious Fitness on Facebook to find out more information on the football camp and other events. Abby St. John is back in now to take a second look at our weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Leanne. We are sitting at 18 degrees. No real wind chill either. 11-kilometer-per-hour winds. We saw a pretty nice day out today. Very sunny. The clouds have started to roll in as the afternoon, as we head into the evening as well. But again, relatively nice day out today, and we're going to see kind of warmer temperatures as we head into the weekend as well, which is always nice. A little less sunny, but we will still have those warmer temperatures. In Alberta, in Central Alberta, 18 out in Edmonton and Athabasca, 19 in Cold Lake, 17 in Red Deer, Rocky Mountain House, Edson, and Whitecourt, and 16 out in Jasper. And in Saskatchewan, 17 in Meadow Lake and Prince Albert, and also out in Saskatoon, 19 in North Battleford, and 16 in Melfort. If we head up north in Saskatchewan, 4 degrees in Uranium City, 8 in Stony Rapids, 10 in Wollaston Lake, 13 in South End, 16 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, and 7 out in Flin Flon. And up north in Alberta, 18 in High Level, 16 in Peace River and Grand Prairie, 9 in Slave Lake, 10 in Fort Chipewyan, and Fort Mac is sitting at 17 degrees. Down south in Alberta, 18 out in Lethbridge and Coronation, 13 in Banff, 17 in Calgary, and 19 in Medicine Hat. And in Saskatchewan, 19 in Kindersley, Moose Jaw, and Regina, 14 in Yorkton, 18 in Swift Current, and 15 out in Estevan. Overnight tonight in North Battleford, it will drop down to 3 degrees, and it will be partially cloudy skies, so it will be a relatively nice evening out. Wind speeds only at around 17 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake will drop down to 2 degrees, partially to mostly cloudy skies, so those clouds will roll in as the evening goes on. And overnight tonight, 11-kilometer-per-hour winds. And then overnight tonight across the region, -1 out in Meadow Lake, which is where the coolest will be. 3 degrees in Bonnyville, Provost, and Paradise Hill, and 2 out in Isle La Crosse. Cloudiness in most of the region. Isle La Crosse is sitting fairly clear out tonight, but no real chance of any precipitation either in any of those areas. And then more overnight temperatures, 4 degrees in Murnum, 2 in Pierceland, 1 in Unity and Calgary, and 3 out in Wainwright. And again, no real chance of precipitation, just a little bit of cloud coverage as the evening goes on. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will be relatively the same as the rest of the region, 3 degrees this evening, and we will also start to becoming cloudy, and that will be head into tomorrow as well, as we will have quite an overcast day for the next couple of days. 13-kilometer-per-hour winds, and then into tomorrow we'll have a daytime high of 21 and a low of 5, so it will still be a warm day out tomorrow despite the clouds, and the wind will start to pick up as we go into the evening. On Thursday, another cloudy day with a high of 17 and a low of 1. On Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 12 and a low of -1, so it's going to cool off just a little bit. And then on Saturday, the clouds will start to roll back right in with a high of 13 and a low of 3. On Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 17 and a low of 4. And then a high of 17 back on Monday and a low of 2 with a mix of sun and cloud. And that will carry over into Tuesday with a high of 14 and a low of 1. So it will be cloudy, but we will have some pretty warm temperatures for the next week, which is always nice to look forward to. That's a look at your evening weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break. I'm back at Border Paws Animal Shelter for another edition of Pet Project, and today we have the happiest boy here, Cheech. He is so cute, even just with his ears. One ear is always plopped up and down, and he's just the happiest boy. That's, I think, the best way to describe him. So how did he come to be at the shelter, and a little bit about his story and what his best fit would be?
So Cheech was brought to us March 15th as a stray from around the 13th Street area. He appears to be a shepherd mix, very friendly, very excited, like he just wants to play. He's such a cuddly boy. He loves his belly rubs. He'd be an absolute best companion for a family. He's great with cats. He's great with kids. He likes other dogs. And of course, if you already own a dog, you can bring them in for a meet and greet just to make sure that they'll be 100% a good fit. We absolutely encourage that. He's such a good boy.
And he'd definitely be fit in like an active household as well, because he has a lot of energy.
He does,
to expel, and it would be perfect for him to have a companion, so he could expel that energy as well if a family has another existing dog as well, which is awesome. And is there anything health-wise that people should be aware of with him, or is he relatively good?
He's a healthy dog. We've had no issues with his health. He's a very good boy. Look at him. He's just so full of energy, so excited. He's approximately 5.5 years old. So he's an older boy, but he's still got so much life, so much energy in him.
And you said any age range for kids?
Yeah, like so many people have come in, like our volunteers and stuff, and he's just taken to everybody. He's such a good boy.
He really is. He's just wanted to explore since he's gone out, and
come here, buddy.
He's just so cute. Absolutely. Now you guys have a bunch of events planned and coming up as we roll into summer. There are city events that are going on that you'll be a part of. So give me a little bit of a rundown what people should know and expect in the coming months or coming weeks for your events.
From 10 to 3 on May 10th at the Hillman Hall, they're hosting their Emergency Awareness Family Fun Day. So there's going to be lots of fun activities for kids. I believe they're going to have a bunch of fire trucks there so the kids can come down and learn about safety. And we'll have at least one of our adoptable dogs there. The 23rd of May, we're hoping to have a grand reopening to kind of show the public the progress that's been made at the shelter. And we are hoping to have a barbecue, and we're looking for if anybody wants to donate, volunteer, help out. We're going to be looking for barbecue supplies and things like that, so it'd be a great help if there's anybody who can help out with that. On June the 8th, we'll have a table set up downtown for the Street Fest. That's going to be coming back around, so we're pretty excited about that. Friday, June 14th, at the Sticks, there's a Man's Best Friend comedy show. So that is an 18+ event. Tickets can be purchased using the QR code for either $30 for one or $50 for a pair. Some of the proceeds from that event will be coming right back to the shelter. Pretty excited. We also have a collaboration upcoming with the people organizing the Just Cruisin' Show and Shine, their 16th annual Show and Shine. So keep a lookout on our social media for more information regarding that, and it should be pretty exciting. We love bringing our animals down to see everybody and hopefully get more of these little guys adopted.
Yes, absolutely. And especially when you guys go to events that you don't typically think that a shelter could be at, like the Show and Shine. But it's a perfect way to hit every community in the city, which is awesome. And of course, Street Fest is going to be awesome, as it is every year, which is where you guys are. I think you guys do go out most mostly every year for Street Fest, which is always exciting, and it's always very fun downtown. And just to walk around, it's going to be awesome. Now, for donations, any donations that you're currently in need of, and for people who are wondering if they can donate to the grand reopening barbecue, how can they do that? And what are you guys looking for?
Barbecue supplies. If anybody wants to donate food, we're also looking into getting a cake, because who doesn't love cake, right?
Exactly.
We do have a few of our animals that are on specialty food, so we're looking for Royal Canin Select Protein or gastro food for cats, because we do have some with special dietary needs. We do also offer microchipping by appointments, $40, which honestly is a lot less than if you were to have to pay if your animal did happen to end up at a shelter. But microchipping is honestly probably the cheapest, easiest way to have that peace of mind for your pet if they do get out.
Yep.
Then if they're brought to a vet or to a shelter, we can easily scan them and have them reunited like way quicker. And it also helps to keep the congestion in the shelters down from owned pets, right? Because
exactly.
we want to make sure everybody is at home.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Especially in the event that your dog gets out and gets loose, or even if your cat roams off, gets a little lost.
Right,
you have that reassurance, because they will end up somewhere where they will check for microchipping. So it's always super important, and the fact that you guys offer it at a lower price than what it usually is I think a little bit more of an incentive as well, which is awesome, because we always want our pets to come home if they do get out. It's always a nice thing. So Cheech was a fantastic guest. I think he's getting a little bit restless and wants to run around with his friends. So thank you for joining us again, and hopefully he finds his forever home very, very soon, and maybe a companion or two.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Today I'm joined by Tim Carson, the CEO of the Alberta Association of Agricultural Societies, and he is here today to talk about Alberta Open Farm Days. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Tim.
It's my pleasure.
And so for those who are unaware, what is Alberta Open Farm Days, Tim?
So this will be the 13th year of Alberta Open Farm Days, and Open Farm Days is a unique opportunity for citizens across Alberta to actually go and visit the farm, meet the producers, find out where their food comes from, and all of the wonderful things that happen across this great province as far as agriculture is concerned. Not to mention, it is a tremendous agritourism event. We have so many great agritourism operators and so many great things to see, do, and experience across rural Alberta. This is just a great opportunity to deal with that.
And what were some of the main reasons that you and the Alberta Association of Agriculture Societies wanted to start up Alberta Open Farm Days 13 years ago?
It's interesting because in today's world, we are, as Albertans, sometimes 3, 4, or even 5 generations away from our agricultural roots, or, digging potatoes in grandma's farm, garden type of thing. And we recognized quite some time ago with our partners that there was a need for consumers to really have a better understanding of where their food comes from, and what the diversity of this great agriculture industry is here in Alberta. We are blessed with this geographical area that allows us to actually produce more food than we can consume, and it is truly some of the best in the world. And our agriculture industry does need a spotlight shone on it. The other side of that was around rural economic development and the ability to assist, if you will, agritourism operators and entrepreneurs who are interested in starting or enhancing a tourism business in rural areas. This was a really allowed them some, like I said, some assistance, some enhancements, and the program itself has evolved from simply an event weekend to actually a full program that includes education, training, support services, and all of those types of things as an incubator, if you will, for those agritourism businesses.
And Tim, what is the theme for this year's Alberta Open Farm Days, and when is it going to be taking place?
So Open Farm Days this year will be August 17th and 18th. It's the third weekend in August each year. And recently, we have begun to start to shine a bit of a spotlight on a particular area of agriculture. And this year is the year of alpaca. Last year we had the year of the bison. Prior to that was on honey. But alpaca again, it allows us just a moment in time to actually shine a bit of a spotlight on the diversity that is in agriculture. We are very aware and fully support, the beef industry, the dairy industry, the poultry industry, the grains and pulses, and all of the pieces of agriculture. But understanding what happens here in Alberta beyond the traditional side of things. So the fiber industry is actually a growing industry here and includes, goat's wool and sheep's wool as well as hemp. And this alpaca piece is a great testament to that. Quite frankly, we have 40% of the entire Canadian herd is here in Alberta, and then there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 240 alpaca farms here. So that's just really interesting to us. And again, it just allows us to take a bit of that diversity and shine a bit of a spotlight.
And if a producer is interested in being a part of Alberta Open Farm Days this year, when is the deadline for applying and where can they go to get more information?
Host farms themselves have until the end of April here to register and come on board. If you are even considering the opportunity of being part of the Open Farm Days program, there is a lot of resources to help you take it from where you believe you are to the next place and really provide a level of experience for those people who are coming out to visit your farm and allowing you to tell your story about your corner of agriculture.
Thank you so much for all the information, Tim, and we look forward to yet another great year of Alberta Open Farm Days.
You bet. We'll look forward to seeing you on albertaopenfarmdays.ca.
That is all the news that we have for you this evening. Thanks so much for joining us and have a good night.